Welcome to Turning Pages with Mel. On today's episode, I want to talk about letting go. So, I'm actually going to make this into a podcast. So, it'll be up on Spotify as well. So, I want to talk about letting go before we hit the 2025 mark and some of the things I'm going to mention. I think we can implement this before we hit 2025. So, one of the first things, I'm just going to go straight into it. One of the first things I want to talk about is money and spending money. Last year, I read a book called The Financial Feminist. By reading that book, I was able to save about 16,000 TT. Um, it really opened my eyes as I got older, especially in my 40s. Of course, I've mismanaged money. Of course, I probably should have changed careers and I should have done a lot of things. However, I want to be more intentional for the rest of my life. You know, like my father says, when you get to a certain age, you could only look forward. You can't look backwards, right? And how do you want your life to look like forward? And for me, I want my life to look very wealthy. But part of being very wealthy means I need to be smart with my money. So, one of the things I actually stopped doing was buying unnecessary things, reusing the clothes that I have, my makeup. Like we as women, we get onto TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and automatically we're bombarded with all the latest products. You don't need it. You probably, if you're a makeup girly like I am, you probably have everything that you need and you don't need another one, another palette or anything like that. There's nothing wrong with treating yourself, but the overconsumption of products that are pushed on us, and especially women, we don't need it. The other thing I stopped doing because I realized I was actually wasting money was thinking that I was getting a bargain with Shein. So I stopped buying from them, and I'm the type of person, I like quality products. So if I buy something, I want it to be good, and I'd rather save my money and spend it on an outfit that I like, a garment, whether it's gym wear, jeans, or anything. I'd rather spend the money on something that's good, that's going to last me a couple of years, instead of buying a bunch of clothes from Shein that I actually don't like and I don't enjoy and I don't feel good in. And then I'm probably only going to get like 3 to 6 months use out of it because either it's poorly made or it just really itches my skin or something like that. So I have been very, very intentional, and you should probably watch how you spend your money when it comes to the beauty and fashion industry. Like really ask yourself, and that's something I learned from the book, The Financial Feminist. Ask yourself, is it necessary? Do I really need this? And a lot of times you don't need it. And we're so influenced by social media that we buy multiple stuff that we don't necessarily need. For me personally, I do like high-end skincare and also makeup, but with those things, they go a long way. And I've also been looking at dupes when it comes to um, skincare and makeup, because sometimes you can find something for half of the price and it works just as good. Nobody knows if you have a Dior lipstick on, or if you have a MAC lipstick on, or you have a Maybelline lipstick on, unless you tell them, you know? So just be mindful of how you spend, even over the holidays. A habit that I have is actually tracking my money. So even if I spend $5, I write it down. Um, I do this. Um, I have a spreadsheet that I've created, but I also know Danny Nelson. She has a budget planner. I'll probably link it down below, where you can track your money, and it kind of gives you an idea of where your money goes. If you use mostly card, it's a great way because you could just pull out your statements and enter in everything that you have spent. And just be mindful of it, because I'm seeing too many women just mismanaging their money, myself included, and we need to get better financially and learn about more about investing and how to make our money work for us. So one of the things I'm letting go for 2024 is really just buying unnecessary things that I don't need. Um, so like for example, we had the Black Friday sale, and I told my sister, like, I really want the new Beats, right? But I want the Beats Pro. But I also know I have my eyes set on a new MacBook and a new phone in the future, and my Beats Solo 3 work just fine. So that's not a purchase I necessarily needed. So think about that. You don't need these things. We want them. We don't need them. So I let go of unnecessary spending in 2024, and 2025, it's just going to be conscious spending. This year was a spiritual year for me. It was a transformational year. And one of the things God exposed to me this year was people and letting go of people. Oftentimes, when we have like a friendship that we have to say goodbye to, whether it's a friendship or a relationship, there is a certain amount of grief. Sometimes there's understanding and confusion, but then when situationships or relationships or any of those things come to an end, we question, is there something possibly wrong with us? You know, and I think it's like changing the perception when things are, you have to let go of things. It's okay if people don't want to talk to you, if they don't want to meet up, if they're just not that interested. And I think for me this year, God let a lot of people go. And at first it was a bit sad, but I had to understand that not everybody's meant for my next season. And as God was letting people go from my life, it became clearer and clearer that He was moving me, and He has other intentions. He has an assignment for me that does not require those people. And some people come in just for a season. They're not meant to be roots or anything in your life. And I'm just no longer, also one of the things I let go while I realized, I was like, okay, I'm holding on to certain relationships. I'm gonna mean friendships, why am I always the one reaching out? Why am I always the one planning something, and so forth? And I just told myself, like, I'm no longer up for that. Like, I am letting go of that behavior of me just always trying and the other party is not trying. And this goes for family, friends, acquaintances, like those type of things. Like, I don't have an enemy anymore, um, to maintain relationships where I am the only one pouring into it. So I let go of people this year, and you should probably probably do an assessment of who you have in your life, because you just don't need them, honestly. And like, I feel like I'm actually probably going to go on a block party soon. I know I have blocked a few people because I just don't have time for inappropriate conversations and disrespect. Like, I can't be bothered. So I'm just keeping it simple here and just real. I can't be bothered with certain people, and the where my mind is headed and where I feel like God's taking me in this next season, certain people just don't belong there. And given, while certain people have dropped out of my life, certain people have come in. And so the other thing I'm gonna let go of, which I had to like really like talk to myself about it, was fitness guilt. This year has been the most challenging year for me fitness wise, not because I was aching or I was training for a marathon. It was the most challenging year because I have never in the past 9 years been this unfit. Like, my fitness routine just plummeted. I was sick all the time. I just know I was emotional eating. The guilt, I can't, like, I really can't. And what I have been doing, because I believe in starting your habits, I don't believe in, waiting for 2025. I believe in starting now. So when it comes to my spending, when it comes to my connections, I'm starting now. I want intentional connections. I want intentional spending. Everything is so intentional. So with my fitness, recently I have bumped my weight back up to 3 days a week. So I was just doing 1 day a week. I think I've gone through a period where it was 2 weeks and I didn't do anything. It's been a struggle. It's like I don't want to go to the gym. I hate it. My eating has cleaned up quite a bit, but before I was just eating whatever the hell I want. Let me just say, I was a hot mess. And the fitness guilt, like, I mean, I can't go back in time and I can't undo what I did, which is I did nothing, you know? But just get rid of the fitness guilt. Like, we have time. There's like 24 days until Christmas. We got a whole month until the new year. We could implement these habits of getting back into our fitness goal now, even though some gyms might be closing early and stuff like that. We have to get creative and be serious about ourselves and our health. But you can't, I don't think it's possible to go in there. Like, some people use guilt as motivation. For me, I'm not that type of person. I had to give myself some grace and compassion with this. It's not the fitness and the body positivity and the weight. It's not an easy thing to deal with. So for me, I'm letting go of that guilt, because in order for me to get progress, I need to start moving my body. I don't need that guilt to actually weigh me down and not go to the gym at all, you know? And the other thing I have on my list to get rid of this year is environments. Um, Whew, this is gonna, this one hits home for me really hard, and there's certain things going on in my life which I'm not comfortable talking about it right now. But environments play an important role when it comes to your mindset. I have read thousands of books, and when I mean thousands, yes, I think it's actually thousands of books when it comes to mindset. I wouldn't even say hundreds, I think thousands at this point. I have consumed probably tens of thousands of hours of content when it comes to mindset. And there is a common denominator, an environment. You know, about midway through this year, I had a podcast with Jillian Shields, a love mentor, and she talked about identity shifting. Identity shifting has a lot to do with your environment. If you're familiar with Joe, I think it's Joe Anyways, you know who I'm talking about. I don't remember, I know how to say his name. However, when we have to do something new and we have to do the identity shifting, one of the things I realized was keeping me back was actually my environment. While I'm blessed by the grace of God with a job and a roof over my head and everything, sometimes environments, the same environments, whether it be your job or your home, your whoever you see on the weekends or stuff like that, that can keep you back. And if you notice that an environment that you're not growing in, try to find ways of which you can either leave or change that environment. For me, I think I need to leave my environment. But I realized, as much as I was reading and taking in knowledge, my environment is not of growth, right? I wanted to use the word toxic, but I want to say it's not of growth. And where you're not growing in is usually a sign that you're in need of change, or you're in need of a change of environment. If you have a job that probably inspires you and challenges you, that's a great thing, because you can get a promotion, and you can work yourself up the corporate ladder and change and challenge yourself in different ways. For me, I need growth and I need a different environment. I feel like I'm also being called for a different environment, as I've been honest with myself and said I need more creativity. Um, and I need to explore the world a little bit more. A little bit about me here is that I think I want to say 12 years, okay, maybe 10, right? In isolation, in terms of a controlled environment. I literally just go to work and come home. And, this year when I started the podcast and being exposed to different people and in different experiences, like their experiences when they tell their stories, I realized I wanted more out of life. And it's not necessarily I wanted more out of life. I want to grow. I want to grow with life and with my age. So maybe assess your environment. And when it comes to identity shifting too, like when I tell you, like, environment plays such a huge role. So if you change, like, where you have your toothpaste and your toothbrush, or you change your room around, that could also help you and improve your environment. Sometimes it doesn't need to be as drastic as leaving your country or leaving a job. It doesn't have to be that drastic. It can be subtle changes that you can do to improve your environment. I know one of the things that I actually do to improve my environment, even though I haven't been able to like move as yet or anything like that, is decluttering. Like if you are not decluttering before 2025, I'll pray for you. But you really need to assess your environment, how you have your things, your mind. Your environment plays a huge part in your mind, where you live, where you eat, where you sleep. All these things have a huge impact on your mental health. If you want me to go into this further, I can on another episode, but those are the things I'm getting rid of in 2024, and I have like pretty much all of them. What are you getting rid of in 2024 heading into 2025? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.